presidential candidates we are seeing here today are some of the poorest, except Kwakwanso, of course. I'm the poorest of all of them. I understand what it means to be poor. Yes. Thank you very much, greatest Nigerian students. I want to thank the organizers for this event. I can't do without doing that. I was at the University of Lagos yesterday and I met the Vice Chancellor. Any serious conversation about politics happen on campuses. In fact, they have 3 presidential debates that must happen on their campuses because students, lecturers are the ones who drive the intellectual future of any country. But you know how Nigeria is. Our universities are working behind the political class. They have done everything they can to destroy the intellectual capacity of this country, challenge even terrible leadership in the country. This is one of the many town hall meetings I've heard emanated from here, and I hope you keep it up. We need our universities to be active in driving every conversation, and we need students to be active in also driving the movement for liberation of this country. You must, as a matter of urgency, become what students used to be in this country. As we are here today, we are suffering more than environmental problems. There's a currency crisis afflicting the country. There is a major fuel problem afflicting the country. And our role in our party, the African Action Congress, is not only to address environmental problems, it's also to face out the major political parties in Nigeria that are creating environmental problems, particularly the APC and the PDP and the overflow parties. That is our goal. Yes, before I address your question, I want to apologize on behalf of those political parties and their presidential candidates who don't even understand the environment. They don't understand climate change. The other one said that climate change has something to do with Holy Communion. Yes. There's another one who said that he wants to go and ask at home the meaning of climate change. That is the kind of country you are in. And we hope that you find it in your heart to ensure that you elect the right people to govern this country. People who can interact at least with students. So with regards to environment, I think our professor who opened this gathering was speaking to the ignorance of environmental issues in Nigeria. When you talk about environment in Nigeria, most people think is environmental sanitation. Most people think that when you talk about environment, you are talking about how to clean your house or grow certain kind of food. They don't understand that environment has a nexus with existence completely. As of yesterday, Turkey had a major earthquake that has killed over 3,000 people. Turkey. Nigeria this year has had a major flood that has killed over 600 people. Although part of the problem of that flood has to do with the responsibility of our leaders. There is a dam in Cameroon. In the 80s, when they were damming their own side of it, they called the Nigerian government to come and dam their own side so they can use it to generate electricity. Our leaders did nothing about it. Whenever Cameroon has an overflow on that dam, they open it and it floods down Nigeria. That is where most of the flooding is coming from. But one thing we must not fail to understand regarding your question is that our lifestyles, if properly done, cannot harm environment. Why? If you grew up in the olden days, not even olden days, every village has a sacred forest that you cannot go into. They are not trying to scare kids. It's their own way of protecting their own environment. Our environment in the Niger Delta region has become a source of cost to this country. And that's why I cannot do without mentioning how most of us came into understanding the environment. It was Ken Saro-Wiwa who stood up in Ogoni land and stood up not only to our Nigerian leaders but the international oil companies and challenged them that they are destroying the Niger Delta region. Most of us did not know that the Niger Delta region is not only being destroyed but their own activities are destroying the ozone layer above our head. As I'm standing in front of you, with respect to our other presidential candidate, I'm the only geographer in their midst. This man is a lawyer. They don't care about the environment too much. This man here is a politician. They don't care about the environment. They are the ones sharing the oil money. And my friend here is a businessman. You understand? They care about the environment only to the extent that they get the 13%.
Mr. Sowore, your time is up. Your time is up. Thank you very much.
Well, as a presidential candidate on a serious note who is a geographer, we have a comprehensive way to deal with the environmental crisis facing us, and we will expatiate on it later. But one of it is to generate sustainable living in the country. It starts with electricity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I want to address the question from our professor about poverty. The interesting thing is that these presidential candidates we are seeing here today are some of the poorest, except Kwakwanso, of course. We are the poorest of the presidential candidates. In the order of the SDP man is rich, and followed by him, he's richer. I'm the poorest of all of them. So you are not the only people who are poor. I'm also very poor, and that's why I am your candidate. I understand what it means to be poor. Yes. And I want to warn us as human beings that we are not the only people on earth, and a lot of careless animals have become extinct. So nothing stops the environment one day, nothing stops the earth one day from wiping out humanity as we are. If we keep messing with the environment, there's nothing special about us other than being lousy. We are not different from the fishes in the ocean that have disappeared, or plants that I used to know, or the dinosaurs that you used to hear about that don't exist anymore. It was the fact that dinosaurs, they don't have the sixth sense that got them extinct. But that's a conversation for another day. So to end what they call multidimensional poverty in Nigeria, the people of Nigeria must rise up against the greedy people who always take care of themselves. And I will say this is a practical solution. University lecturers used to be activists in this country. What happened to ASU? ASU is not even organizing any town hall meeting in this election cycle. Whereas they are affected by the academic decisions that will be taken by people who don't care about them. So Nigeria has been feeding the greedy and ignored the needy. And that is what our government will restore, is to redistribute wealth in the country. And we'll do it with our full chest. And the production of solar energy devices that one of our professors asked, Nigeria cannot produce anything until we have energy ourselves. So unfortunately, we have to get the energy from Europe first before we can transfer the technology that can help us to produce this. And one person asked about, is it only solar energy that is going to be energy transfer? No, solar is just one of the various mixes of energy sources. Somebody, I was talking about ranching the other time, I didn't get to it. Do you know that cow dung, the shit from cow, can be used to generate electricity? Most of you don't know. Do you know that corn can generate electricity? The waste in Lagos can generate the electricity that will take care of almost the entire southwest. But again, I can't say it enough. You cannot achieve any of these things with the kind of leaders they call front runners in all this in this election. The Bulabalu town hall meeting people.
All right, thank you very much.
The issue of silt in Port Harcourt in the refineries and as I said, gas flaring. Port Harcourt city is hell on earth. I was leaving Port Harcourt this last, I think it was 2 months ago. It was 7 a.m. There's one gas flare very close to the airport. They said it has been there since the beginning of time. Why can't they put it off? And the question I'm asking myself, where is the suit coming from when refineries are not working? I don't get that part of it, and I want somebody to educate me. Party representative, please. Somebody was asking about, but I want to answer that. We are going to form a government that is going to work for Nigeria. I guarantee you that there is no permanent party person in Nigeria Nigeria is the only country where you can go to bed as SDP and wake up as APC. So if the people that are going to be elected want to work for the Nigerian people, we will be one political party that is working in the interest of the people. There is no permanent party member in Nigeria. There should be one interest, and everybody who is elected into office to be in our National Assembly should work in the interest of Nigerian people, not work in the interest of their political party. And most of these parties anyway don't have any ideology. We are the only ones who have it. Let them join us. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
I'm the only one here who once ran a student union government. And when one of our candidates and his supporters called me SUG president, I'm happy about it. Because for you to become a student union leader in my time, you have to know what you are doing. In fact, the student union leader in my time would have run Nigeria better than Buhari is running it today. And I'm sure most of you would have run this country better than you are running Nigeria today, even though you are young. So don't be ashamed that you are about to take the most important role in your life. And it starts with this election. Let me tell you, none of these adults that we travel with wants to hand over power to anybody. I have often said something whenever I go to these debates, that in 1992, I was contesting as president of the University of Lagos Student Union. 1992, Atiku was contesting as SDP in his party. He was their presidential candidate. 2023, it was an aspirant. 2023, Atiku is still dragging position with me. What is it going to be the turn of young people? Why can't we be allowed to run our... If we want to make our mistakes, let's make it and deal with it. They should just quit the stage. I don't have any problem with old people, but I have problem with old ideas. The kind of ideas that have put Nigeria where it is today. And I want to say one last thing to young people, and this is to support what Professor Prince Adewale has said. Don't come and tell me after the 25th and you make your mistakes that you have no opportunity to have chosen a better candidate in this election. Because we have presented you, even in this small room here, we have presented you with young people with the brightest ideas in the country.
One of the biggest problems Nigeria faces is that each time we have a major problem, we set up a commission to tackle it. And then the commission becomes a problem itself. I am not going to be a president that sets up commission to discuss why the Chad Basin lost 90% of its water volume. It was a climate crisis that we didn't respond to. We are talking about flooding of Nigeria today from, Lado Dam in Cameroon. As our friend at the SDP said, there is no reason why we should not be directing the excess water from Lado Dam to the Chad Lake, or Lake Chad, as you call it. The reason why you have herdsmen going down south was because their original source of water, the Lake Chad, dried up. The Lake Chad is not supporting Nigeria alone, it's supporting about 4 countries. And when these people lost their means of livelihood, they had to find water somewhere. What I would do as president of Nigeria is to establish ranches. What my friend said here is what I said 2018, but I'm not establishing political ranches. They call Ruga. Everybody in Nigeria will have a right to set up a shop called a ranch. You can go there as a herdsman. It's going to be hydroponic. It has grass, either haze or green grass, and you can feed your cow. There is no reason why the Redeemed Church that eats over 2,000 cows a day during their Holy Ghost Congress cannot have a ranch. There is no reason why we cannot reopen the Obudu Ranch. Obudu Ranch used to be a ranch for cows, it's not a hotel. Because our leaders, maybe when they started, we had sensible leaders. They weren't creating conditions, they were solving problems. Our professor here, Akali, was talking about
Kwakwaso. Kwakwaso has been in every government since 1999. He was commissioner of peace. He was defense minister. He was governor for 2 years. If there's any position, class captain, Kwakwaso will take it. But it is that same ambition that led to some of the highest number of out-of-school children in Kano. If you vote for Kwakwaso to come and become president of Nigeria, you want to extend the number of out-of-school children. That is why I always tell them it's time for them to retire. Let young digital people,